If you were at the 50th anniversary celebration of Shelby American in Las Vegas, you may have seen this Red Fire 2003 Terminator Cobra. This is a beautiful car, and it's been in many car shows. These pictures are really fun to look at. You can tell that the owner has enjoyed participating in a lot of events. This must have been a really fun night to be cruising with a whole bunch of other Mustangs. You can see him lined up here with a bunch of Mustangs. Take note of the bullet on the right. That was in one of the other videos at the car show. But anyway, you see him lined up here with a whole bunch of other Mustangs to make a ginormous 50 out of the Mustangs. Just a really cool thing to see and to know that the Terminator was part of this. But something about this Cobra is very unique. This is my friend's car. It's a beautiful Cobra, like I was saying. But behind this beautiful Cobra is a big story. And it wasn't always so beautiful. This is the first picture of the Cobra when the guy saw it. It was on Copart, which is a salvage company, and it was in Texas, and the car was a theft recovery. The car was stolen, and it was, I don't know whether it was involved in a police chase or what, but it crashed through a fence, according to what he believes happened to it. It ripped the tire bead off. There was grass in the tires and everything. And the car ended up for sale in on Copart, and he was able to purchase the vehicle. I remember him telling me that it was difficult to get the car home, that he had to get a car carrier to bring it, and they would only bring it halfway through the state of Utah where the car was supposed to be delivered, and it was a real headache for him. He had to go pick it up and stuff. But anyway, he did get the car. Now, the car at first didn't look too bad, and in pictures it's really hard to tell what kind of damage there is. The car only had 54,000 miles on it, and it looked to be in good shape, but when he got the car he realized that the paint was scratched all the way through the paint, all down to the metal. And so he had a friend who had a body shop, and he worked with a friend, came up with a quote on what it would cost to repaint the car, sent it up there. But once they got the car and saw how deep the paint scratches were, they decided to take the car all the way down to metal and get the paint all the way off and do this paint job the right way. I don't know what wheels those are. I think they're a really nice set of forged wheels. Somebody might be able to tell me, but he ended up deciding to keep them, which I thought was kind of interesting. I thought he would have got Terminator wheels back for it. But he had them actually bead blasted down to the metal because they were painted gold or powder coated gold or something with it. And he ended up having them redone and polished out really nice. You can see what they look like now. And he even had those center caps custom made by a guy in the small little town where he lives, which I think is really interesting. They're really nice Cobra Snake center caps with like a nice plastic cover over them. I remember him even telling me how they worked on the underside of the bumper to make sure that the bumper doesn't curve up between the Cobra letters on the very top, which is something that these Mustangs are all prone to. So he made this car very beautiful, and look how nice it is when it was all done. The first time I saw this car, I had no idea of its past. I just thought it was a really, really nice Terminator Cobra, which it is. And with such low miles, it's in really good shape. He did have some things he had to do to it. You know, he did some cosmetic things like changing the Cobra Snake to one of the bigger GT500 style ones. And I know he had to have the diff pulled out, probably to reseal it and do some suspension work on the IRS. And so I remember him dropping the IRS and doing all this, putting new bushings in and everything, making it look really good. New springs too. And actually the car lost compression in one of the cylinders. I believe he had to have one of the heads taken off and had a machine shop do some work with it, or a shop that he knew that was really good got it back up and running. And as far as mods go, I know he changed to the JLT intake and had it painted Red Fire. Looks really good. And he added a ported Eaton supercharger. Other than that, he did a lot of really nice things like the expansion tanks and all the stuff that would you could take pride in. He has one of the strut tower braces too, which you don't really see on these Terminator Cobras very much. But anyway, it's a beautiful car. And when he got it, they were still pretty high in price. I mean, now they haven't really depreciated very much, but you know, a car with that many miles was still worth quite a bit of money back then. So um, it was a good option for him to buy the way he did. You can think of it in different ways. You know, you can have a car that's really nice, low mileage, that you spend a lot of money on, or you could buy a car that needs some work, and when you're done repairing everything or putting a new paint job on it, now you have a car with all new parts. Especially when the paint's concerned, because no matter how nice of a car you buy with low mileage, it's going to have little rock chips, it's going to have little dings, it's going to have little imperfections on it. I've seen cars with 5,000 miles on them that have considerable amounts of little dings and scratches and things, and that's something that you just can't get around. So the way he did it was really cool, because he got this beautiful car in the end, and he was able to fix it all up himself. Now, something about this was he'd go to a lot of car shows, and he would enter the car, and without telling them the story, a lot of people thought it was just a really nice Cobra. I remember he was telling me that there was a guy here in town that runs a lot of car shows, and he has older Mustangs, and they were saying some cars like these newer Mustangs shouldn't be involved in car shows like this because people haven't put any effort, blood, sweat, tears into them. They haven't had to do paint jobs or body work and clean them up and straighten them out. And he was like, well, hold on a second. I've done all of that with this car. And I think that made this car even more important to him. Now in these pictures you'll see this Coyote Rouge. It's Ruby is the name of the car. He bought it for his wife, so I just wanted to say real quick that it's really cool that he enjoys going to car shows, going to a lot of cruises and things, and him and his wife do this together, and that's her Rouge. And the funny story about that car, real quick, is she had said to him when she saw it, you know, I love this car, and she grabbed him by the suspenders and said, make it happen, which was really funny on the story of how they ended up buying that car. He also has a really nice red Raptor that matches, and so you can see he has this thing going on with this beautiful red fire color, or ruby red, whatever colors they are. He lives in a really, really small town. You would never know that he would have all those cool cars there, so that's really cool. And the first time I saw the car, he had it at a Mustang Club of America show that came to town, and it was really neat to see it there, and he was autocrossing it and driving it around, and he put painter's tape all over the front for the autocross in case he clipped a cone or anything, and took really good care of it. I had my Mach 1 at the time. I didn't have a Terminator yet, so to see this beautiful car was just awesome. And this guy is one of the biggest Terminator guys out there. It's been something really important to him over the years, and he's taken ownership of it. And like I said, he could have bought a really nice finished Terminator that was low mileage and just perfect shape, clear title. When all's said and done, he spent as much or maybe even more getting this Cobra back to where it was and to be such a beautiful car. But he has a car that he's never going to sell, and he loves it, and I really like the car too. I think it was a good choice, and it makes for a really awesome story, especially for him to go to all these car shows and tell people. And he goes on lots of really cool cruises, and he's all over the place with this car, so I think that's really cool. Well, thanks for watching. I really enjoyed this story. This is one of my favorite Terminator Cobras, especially one that I know personally. And please watch the other videos if you're interested, and subscribe to the channel, like the videos, and check out the playlist of all these stories.